So I am Dr. Hannah with DrHannah.Clinic, and today we're featuring Dr. Sarah Druckman, founder and CEO of Alpha Theta Wellness Collective from Georgia. And today we're going to be talking about the connection between the central nervous system, hormones, health, how to induce states of relaxation used from Dr. Sarah's unique and knowledgeable perspective. I know that what we're going to be doing today is we want to teach you guys all how to have less stress in a busy, chaotic life where we have deadlines, really high stresses involved. We're going to help you with some techniques and tools to help you put on the back in your pocket so that you can pull them out anytime that you need to. So Dr. Sarah is going to share with us some meditation, some yoga, some feeling, and some breathing techniques. And as you all know, stress is a response from your central nervous system, which is correlated from your brain and spinal cord. And when a healthy nervous system responds to different stressors, what happens is your body elevates and kicks off some cortisol, and within minutes you should be able to decrease and go back to another calmer state. So, for example, when you're driving a car and deer pops in front of your car, the first thing your body does is two different things. We either stop to try and stop the collision from happening, or we'll swerve away from the deer in the headlights. And that is our central nervous system speaking to us, because what's happening is a flood of cortisol is being stressed into our body, into our soft tissues. And within minutes, a healthy nervous system should take that heightened state, elevated state, and bring it back down to more of a calm state. Unfortunately, an unhealthy nervous system stays in that elevated state when certain stressors are continuously added into our daily lives. So, Dr. Sarah, will you please share with us who you are, what you do, and we can get started on some hormones and different tactics you have for us.
Yeah, so I'm a chiropractor. I have an extensive background in functional medicine as well. So I've always been really involved with nutrition and functional medicine. So beyond just work, adjusting people, which is amazing. I love chiropractic. Adding in the component of functional medicine, also yoga. I'm a yoga teacher and a life coach. So really bring together the entire mind, body, spirit connection to work with each patient and each client to improve their health and their nervous system. I personally have gone through a lot of stress and burnout. So it's pretty near and dear to me. I was really burnt out for a while just from not managing my stress well, even though for a while I thought I was until I realized I really wasn't. And especially after the pandemic and the way our modern society is, the primary issue I see with most of my patients and most of my clients is that they're really stressed out. And long-term stress creates negative effects on almost every system of your body. Like you gave the deer example, that's a great example. Our body our cortisol is supposed to rise. We're supposed to experience stress in a very short period of time and then regulate back to normal levels. But unfortunately, now in modern day society, the littlest thing is our body sees a little teeny stress, like opening an email or traffic, as the same kind of stress as you're about to hit a deer on the road, right? So my job and my mission now is to help people to regulate that stress and regulate their body's response, so that way we don't experience long-term burnout due to constant high levels of cortisol and stress.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I like that input. So how would you, if a patient comes in and they are, they walk in and they're just high alert, in that red zone, even after a few adjustments, they're not responding, what course of action would you bring that patient to try to induce deeper healing into their nervous system?
Yeah, so the adjustment does help to decrease stress within the nervous system and within the body, right? So as a chiropractor, we first and foremost address the body with chiropractic There are also some other techniques within chiropractic that are more of a light touch and somatic base that help to calm the nervous system. So those are really great to work with on a chiropractic level. Where I'm really bringing my practice and creating courses and working from a more virtual space at this point is through nutrition, lifestyle, journaling, even looking into trauma and triggers, really reducing it from a holistic standpoint of why are we so stressed out? Why are things that shouldn't be, like opening an email? People sometimes open it, like literally someone might see an email and their heart races and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't even deal with this. I don't want to open this. Like, how do we bring that down another level so that way it's not so triggering? So I am working right now on a tapping certification. I don't know how many of you out there are familiar with tapping, but literally right now I can start tapping certain points on my face and on my neck to calm down my nervous system. You can do bilateral tapping on your arms. There's breath work, that literally breathing is, most of us don't breathe unless you're a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
What's that?
Just hold their breath.
Yeah, exactly. I have patients come to me, I'm sure you do, we all do. And people, our viewers have probably said it before in their lives as well. I hold all of my stress and my tension in my shoulders and in my neck. Like we hear that constantly. I do it too. I'm very tense up there, right? But like one of the number one reasons why we get so much tension is because we're supposed to be breathing from our diaphragm, which is in our belly. That's like the proper way to breathe. And if you're not breathing from your diaphragm, which is your major muscle of breathing, which you pretty much consciously have to do it properly. You have to like really stick your belly out to breathe and really engage that diaphragm. Then we breathe from our accessory muscles, which are our scalenes and our traps and all the muscles up here in our neck. So when people are like, I hold all my stress up here in my neck, and I don't know why I'm always so tight, it's because we're breathing from muscles we're not even supposed to really be breathing from.
Oh, wow.
So, just tapping into your breathing, it's one of the easiest things in your autonomic nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system, that you can tap into and actually control. You can't control your heart rate necessarily, but you can control it through your breathing. So if you can just tap into that, you're going to automatically reduce your stress levels and your body's stress response.
That's a great input, is just start at the basics of breathing and oxygen content into our nervous system to allow oxygen to kind of flood those areas, relax them. So you make a very key point about belly breathing versus diaphragm breathing. I do notice a lot of patients who do tend to have more higher stress levels or anxiety behaviors. They do actually, like you said, breathe from the top. And for them to take a deep breath is almost very difficult for them, since they've never done that or they haven't learned. So if you could share with us an exercise how to deep belly breathe, could you take us all through it so we can all do it together?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
So it's actually easiest done laying down, and I don't really know if we
do
that well. So if you're watching this and you want to lay down on the floor,
sure.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and lay on the floor, everyone.
If you're driving, place your hand on your heart and your hand on your belly.
Okay.
And I would just close your eyes, unless you're driving. Do not close your eyes, but close your eyes and just ground down and find stillness and find some heaviness, like in your sit bones and in your back. And you're going to take a deep breath in, and on that inhale, you want to feel your belly expand and rise under your hand. And on the exhale, you want to force all that air out. And you want the exhale to actually be longer than the inhale. It's a more powerful relaxation to your vagus nerve and to your nervous system than if it's a shorter exhale. So let's all inhale for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you should feel an immediate relaxation through your body and through your nervous system just from that one breath. Imagine if you took 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 breaths in a row like that intentionally. You're going to find yourself in a much more relaxed and calm state just from belly breathing and diaphragmatically breathing. But if you have your hand on your belly and you have your hand on your heart, not only are you like tuning in with yourself and with your body by touching your body, but you can feel the expansion in your belly as you breathe. And personally, as like a woman, I think most of us, we don't necessarily want to stick our belly out because it's not really sexy and we're taught to like suck it in. We're wearing like mom jeans to hide it, so it's not really our goal. And most people don't ever relax their core muscles and like allow the diaphragm to really expand, and the lungs go down basically into your belly, like to your belly, right? So if you're expanding, you're literally expanding air to the very depths of your lungs when you do that belly breathing and sticking your belly out as you breathe.
That's really fascinating. I'll share a personal story where I had saw a naturopath, and part of my healing was to relax my core. So imagine I was doing alpha CrossFit. I was doing every core workout in the entire universe, and my core was so tight that I was not properly breathing right and digesting properly because it was all just sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she taught me similar techniques where you need to start breathing with your diaphragm and allowing it to relax. The moment that happened, my entire calming state of mind just started to, it was like a new journey for me.
Yeah, it's huge. And you can actually, some practitioners will actually do manual work on the diaphragm to release the diaphragm because it can get adhesed, like the fascia surrounding it can get adhesed and stuck. And so it doesn't, if you're doing so much core work and you're never relaxing it, it could be beneficial to have someone actually manually help to release that diaphragm so that way it can move more freely.
Okay, I actually really like that idea.
Yeah.
You're checking everyone's diaphragms this week.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me a little bit more, Sarah, about the somatic healing that you were talking about too.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a course right now. I just started it. I'm in the course, and it's a somatic coaching course and somatic healing. So it's really utilizing a variety of techniques to tap into your nervous system. You know, some of them that I already mentioned. So like the breath work and the tapping, to bring people into a state of calm as you work with them in coaching and in healing. Because if we're in a fight or flight response, or if our nervous system is ramped up and we're stressed out, that's survival mode, right? And most of us spend all of our time, or a majority of our time, in survival mode, and we don't know how to get out of survival mode. So it's really helping others and teaching others how to come down out of that heightened, amplified nervous system state into the parasympathetic, you know, rest and digest, feed and breathe, the relaxed state, and giving them tools to do that at home. And sometimes it can be so easy. You know, I've done a lot of work with like the vagus nerve. I always teach the vagus nerve when in yoga and in coaching. I love the vagus nerve, and it's a sexy, big, sexy term that's like, I think, trending on Instagram, so you can look that up.
Yeah.
But sometimes somatic healing, I feel, can be as easy as literally closing your eyes, you know, tapping into your breath like we just did, and checking in with yourself, you know, asking yourself, am I feeling stressed right now? Am I feeling calm? Am I feeling present? You know, what am I feeling? What are my thoughts? Just literally checking in with yourself. Like, the majority of people never, ever just stop. We don't stop.
Good point.
And we don't, and you can even asking our bodies like what we need, like what do you need? What do I need right now? You know, what feelings are coming up? Does it have a color? Does it feel hard? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? Does it feel soft? Like naming your emotions and naming your feelings and associating them with something rather than letting them run you and control you.
That's really powerful that you added that, because as women, we might experience emotion kind of like continue like this.
I mean,
but with the, you know, how you're teaching all these different tools and tactics, maybe we can be more, you know, a little more less awake, I think. And that's the goal, right?
Yeah, I don't know like the exact quote that I've heard before, but it's in the pause, right? Where it's in the pause where your power is found, basically. So when you're emotional and we feel emotions, and we might kind of be like, you know, a little roller coastery. You did it so good. Might be a little roller coastery.
Yeah.
It's when you pause and you slow down and you stop and you may. I had a really hard time identifying my feelings for a long time. You know, I can be like, I'm happy, I'm sad. That's really like first grade level, right? I'm 41 years old. Like, how are we going to identify our feelings as a grown adult?
Absolutely.
And when you can give them like a color, and you can name them in a, like, I have a chart up on the wall of different emotions and feelings. There's like 200 things up there, right? Most of us wouldn't even be able to name 10 of them, I don't think.
Good point.
So I feel like if you can pause and rest and get quiet and come from a state of calm, then you can dive a little deeper into things rather than just reacting.
That's really powerful. And you mentioned different ways to kind of identify them as journaling. You've also like to get them out, basically, because as you said, just kind of backing up a minute, feelings, they kind of, when you hold them in and you're not addressing them, can stir up like a stress response. Is that correct? Have you seen that before?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and most people don't even know what they're feeling. They don't know how to identify it and talk about it in order to really let it go or work through it or get to the next level. So if you're just feeling something, but you don't know what you're feeling and you can't identify that and you can't write it out or get rid of that feeling or move beyond that feeling, then you just get stuck in that sympathetic state, in that nervous system elevation.
Right.
You can't really take ownership of it.
Good point.
It owns you more than you owning it.
And that's the last thing. This is a cool statement. So one of my patients, a few of them actually have came in and they're like, I'm leading with my head when I'm walking. And I said, interesting. I said, okay, so we adjusted you. Your nervous system is a little bit in more of a calmer state after the nerve pressure. I said, but when you're leading with your head, I said, where are you going and what is driving you? And I induced her and tried to instill in these different patients. I said, take a moment and just be present. Whether that looks like reading a book, journaling out what's on your mind, or just taking a breath, like that. Because in those states of mind, it's like, what are we chasing? It sounds like it's a spiral momentum forward when really we just need a pause.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's the body. Exactly what you said. What are we chasing? Why are we leading that way? Right? Like where are we? And if she sits down and journals it and looks into it, and feels it and can name it and see it and give it a shape and a color and a weight and everything, then you really understand it so much more than it just driving you.
Exactly. I like that. That was really powerful. And then also, you were mentioning how meditation and yoga can incorporate into potential reducing stress responses, get your body fluid through some motion. I do realize, and you're a chiropractor, so you probably notice this too, people who don't move as well, they're kind of like stuck, literally, joint by joint, they're stuck, you know, certain segments. And then that also creates like a blockage, like in that particular region, or even in their fluid motion, walking, you know, and going through the motions. How does yoga actually help to de-stress a body, help you move through those emotions?
Well, yoga is considered a moving meditation, right? So a lot of people, when they hear of meditation, they think they have to sit like Buddha under a tree and reach enlightenment, right? Like you have to sit. People are like, I can't meditate. I try to meditate and my brain keeps going, right?
Yes, I've heard that.
Even the most advanced meditator, their brain thoughts are going to come into your brain. Thoughts come into your brain. I forgot the number of how many thoughts come into your brain a day, but I like go Google that, guys. I should know that number. It's like hundreds of thousands, I believe. Wow. So thoughts are constantly coming into our brain. That's the way the body is made. By meditating, you aren't getting rid of those thoughts. They're still going to come. You're acknowledging the thought as it comes. It's like a guest coming into your house. I've heard this analogy. It's like someone coming to your house and you say hi. Maybe you're hosting a party. Someone comes to the door. You say hi, you greet them, and then they go over to the punch bowl. And then another person comes. You say hi, you greet them, you acknowledge them, and then they walk into the living room. So thoughts are the same way. They're going to come into your head. You acknowledge them, you see them, and then you let them go. You don't hold on to them. So the goal is to not to control your thoughts or to have no thoughts, because we're not going to have thoughts that's based. You're not human if you're not having thoughts come into your mind. But the goal is to see those thoughts and acknowledge those thoughts and then let them go. Send them on their way. So through meditation, you're strengthening that muscle of seeing the thoughts, acknowledging the thoughts, feeling them, hearing them, and then letting them go on their way so that you create more space within your brain. Yoga, the purpose of yoga traditionally, and the reason why the asana, that's the movement of yoga, that's the yoga pose. Okay. The entire reason why we do asana, or the yoga practice that most of us traditionally know is like a vinyasa or a yoga class that we would go to, is to strengthen the muscles around the spine so that we can sit to meditate. So yoga is that's one theory. Another thing is that it's a moving meditation. So some people do really, really well in a yoga class because they get into like a hypnotic meditative state as they're breathing and they're moving and they're going through the asanas and the yoga poses. And there's so many different types of yoga. You know, there's the traditional vinyasa yoga class where you're doing warrior 1 and warrior 2 and downward dog and chaturangas. There's yin yoga where you're literally laying in each pose for 3 to 5 minutes. There's restorative where you're surrounded by bolsters and blocks and blankets and you're laying there. So there's so many different types of yoga. But for some people, that moving meditation is a much easier way for them to get out of their conscious headspace and into more of a meditative state.
That's really powerful, because I don't know if you've noticed too, but some patients are kind of stuck, whether it's physiologically, mentally, or a combination of the two. And to be able to work through that into inducing deeper levels of coaching, these are some amazing tools that all of our patients and viewers today can be using to try to, jumpstart that process and support their everyday. Because what we're trying to do is the current response and a current state of mind, not just to reduce the cortisol stress levels that we're talking about, but also to give you tools for long-term health. So some patients that are like, okay, I did it, now what?
Yeah.
Like, Like, well, you know, you got to keep going.
Exactly. I think that's been one of the hardest things in my, you know, spiritual and health journey is sometimes I dive all in and I'm like the A+++ overachiever, perfect patient. And I'm like doing all the things. And then sometimes I fall off the wagon and I really stink at it. And, you know, I've been doing this for 20 years now, and consistency really is key, right? It's like, okay, I did it. But if you like do, you know, I meditated this morning. Did I meditate the morning before? No, but it's like a muscle. And if you do it every day, it strengthens. And all of these little habits and rituals and health practices, when you can be really consistent and have a real benefit.
I think we lost, like, there we go.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So, yeah, I encourage people to really just, I think it's a matter of finding what works for you. Like what works for me might not work for the person next to me and the person on the other side of me. Like we all have different things that drive us and that work for us. I like different types of yoga that other people like other types of yoga. I like journaling. Someone else might not, they might prefer to read or I listened to this podcaster and she hated journaling, but she started creating podcasts basically for herself. That was her journal, right? And that I was like, well, that makes all the sense to me. Like she's not a writer, she's a speaker. So I think finding what works for you to get your thoughts out and to strengthen your body and your mind and your nervous system, and being consistent is the most important thing. And if you fall off the wagon for a couple days or a week or a month, you're human, we all do, and get right back to it. I think we're having buffering.
Really cool. Yeah, we got you back. You're good.
Okay.
So consistency is key. Find out what works for you. I like how you gave the different examples, journaling versus speaking. Some people, yeah, like you said, internalize. Some people create art to get it out. People, you know, create podcasts, which is so cool. I think that's cool because you're almost finding what works for you. And I like how you basically said, what works for me may not work for the other person, that may not work for me, but have this huge bubble of ideas of different outlets that we can take care of. Those are our tools to help the community get better at their long-term health with a less stressful life. And in fact, if we can create communities with less stress, wouldn't we all just be like world peace, basically, right?
It'd be amazing. It's I guess that's like a blue zone, right? The blue zones where people live the longest and they've got it down to science.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, these are amazing tools that you're giving to us. And if you could leave our viewers today with 3 essential tips that you would do to help lower cortisol levels, what are the top 3 things you would recommend?
Okay, top 3 things. Definitely breath work. And it doesn't have to be something crazy. There's a lot of different methods out there. I like the Wim Hof method. I like just the basic diaphragmatic breathing that we did. Also, I really like box breathing. That's really easy. So with box breathing, I'll lead you guys through this real quick. So you're going to inhale for 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to hold the inhale for 4 seconds at the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to exhale out for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to hold the exhale for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I feel like that's a really easy one for people because it's literally a box. 4 seconds in, 4 second hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold the breath out. So those are some of my favorite. Journaling has been huge for me. Writing out in journaling, I think specifically gratitude is really huge. I mean, there's so many different things you can journal about, but I actually just learned this recently. A lot of us know about journaling, about gratitude, and we're like, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my dog, I love my community, my house, like basic things. And I found myself repeating a lot of the same things over and over again. Yeah. Well, it's actually for your brain, the best way to journal gratitude. Sorry. Oh, yeah. The best way to journal gratitude is to specifically recount a moment in your day that you're grateful for, because then in your brain, it relives it again. So in your body and in your brain and in your nervous system, it's reliving that moment like it's reality for a second time. Mm-hmm. So I could journal, I'm grateful for spending time on my coaching program today. I'm grateful for taking my dog around the block and he peed on only one bush, Right. Because normally he stops about 25 times.
Yeah, that's a good day.
It was a good day. Yeah. But you're anchoring in and embedding that specific memory and that moment that you're grateful for and how you felt in that moment. You're journaling about something that you're grateful for. So you have those endorphins and those feelings of health and gratitude and happiness in those moments. So when you specifically journal gratitude about something that happened that day, your body is reliving it for a second time. So you're getting this double hit of dopamine from it.
I really like that.
And then the third thing, well, my favorite thing in the whole world, infrared sauna.
There we go.
What
does that do?
If anyone has an infrared sauna or is thinking about an infrared sauna, it does so many. For me, it's my everything. It does so many things.
I gotta get one of those.
What's that?
I gotta get one of those.
I love it. It's my happy place. I think the one it's a nice little closed space. Mm-hmm. Nobody can talk to you while you're in the sauna, really. You're in a little box, you're in a little cave. It feels all safe and dark and warm. And infrared saunas, they boost your immune system. You're sweating out toxins. You can burn up to 500 calories in 30 minutes in an infrared sauna. It puts you into a parasympathetic state. So that's part of my meditation. A lot of times I'll read in there. It's just my quiet time. And I've gotten, it's been becoming the biggest part of my morning. I've been using saunas for 10 years. But I have one in my bedroom now. It's a little tent, and it has red light inside of it as well. So it helps stimulate your mitochondria. So it's helping your energy units of your cells. So I'm killing 25 birds with one stone when I'm in there. But I used to wake up in the morning and check my phone and my Instagram and my email and my bank account and all the things. And I'd wake up with anxiety, and I'd be really stressed out about the day. And I was just... In the morning, you're supposed to start slow because your cortisol is already at its highest. And if you just continue that stress journey first thing in the morning, you're not really getting any time to yourself, and you're not quieting down that stress response. So the sauna for me has been in the morning, I'll get in there for 30 minutes right away, and I'll read, I'll meditate, and I'm getting all these health benefits from it's physiologically putting you into a parasympathetic state, but also detoxing your body and everything else on top of it.
Wow, that's pretty fantastic. I'm not sure if I've tried one, and that is definitely on my to-do list in the next couple days here.
It's one of the top things I recommend to patients, because the health benefits of infrared saunas are just through the roof. And I think if you're trying to detox your body in any way, I work with a lot of hairdressers, artists. If you're around chemicals, if you've got high mercury or any toxic we all have toxicities in our environment. the sauna is one of the most profound things that you can do to help get all those toxins out of your body.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's I love that feedback. So those are some top tips. So I hope everyone wrote down some notes here so you can pull it out anytime that you feel stressed out. Well, Dr. Sarah, I just want to thank you so much for all your experience, expertise, knowledge for everyone today, including myself. And I would absolutely love to do this again on another topic. So if you guys are looking in the Georgia area for an actual chiropractor, where are you located?
I'm in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Alpharetta,
so about
Georgia. So
40 minutes north of Atlanta.
North of Atlanta. Okay,
yep.
Great. So everyone go to Dr. Sarah. She's great. She's wonderful. She'll take care of you real good. So Dr. Sarah, it's so nice to have you on today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I had fun talking with you.
Me too. Thank you. We'll do it again soon.